Yeah, so hello students. Uh, so today, I think that my screen is visible to all of you. And yeah, this is day two of our workshop. So, as in our previous workshop, in day one, yesterday, we have discussed about our topic that on our topic that how can we make a personal oscilloscope. We have discussed till now that why it is necessary for us to have an oscilloscope. Okay, and now this is day two of this workshop. So today we will be discussing that how can we build a portable oscilloscope. So first of all we will see, we will try to explore that how can we make that oscilloscope, and after making that oscilloscope, after we will learn that how can we make it, we will do a hands-on session on this oscilloscope. So basically I will be happy if all of you student have installed the scope software, that the link of which we have given on the Slack. You all have access to that software, and in on hands-on session I will be doing the things on my end on my laptop, and I will expect from all of you that all of you will be following the same, so that there should be a synchronism between these two ends. Okay, yeah. So in today's session we will discuss that how can we build a oscilloscope. So as you can remember, in yesterday's session we have discussed till this stage that in the oscilloscope basically we have three stages. The very beginning stage is the sampling stage, which reads the input signal. So just for the information, just for a recapitulation of the previous session, let me just explain very briefly this whole circuit schematic. So here we have a half wave rectifier circuit in the block. This is just to show you an example. And yeah, just so we have a half wave circuit, and we have connected the output of the half wave circuit to the oscilloscope, and we want to just look that how many stages, what are the different stages are there in the oscilloscope. So the first stage was the sampling stage. The purpose of this stage was to read the input signal. So basically in the oscilloscope, whenever you connect any external terminal, so just for sake of the recapitulation, this is how the real oscilloscope looks. And when you connect anything to this input terminal, these are the input probe of the oscilloscope. When you connect these two terminals to the oscilloscope like this, it will show you the waveform. So inside the oscilloscope, we have this sampling circuit at the very beginning stage, and after that, after this sampling circuit reads the input signal, it converts that data into digital form, and it goes to the processor. And processor does some signal processing algorithms, and at the last, the output is given to the display. And now we are trying to make the oscilloscope using our laptop. So we will be using our laptop for this oscilloscope. Now how can we do this? So basically to display the signal, we will use the monitor of our laptop, and to process the signal, we will be using the processor of our laptop. And for the input stage, to sample the input voltage, basically we will use the sound card system of an laptop. So if you will look the motherboard of a laptop, so this is the motherboard of a laptop. So here the processor is sitting in between this motherboard, and if you will see that the sound card, this sound card is connected to here. So this is the input channel where the sound card gets the signal. Okay, so Yeah. Now, how we will make how we will make this oscilloscope is that first of all we will connect our input voltage, whatever we want to measure. So suppose we want to, let's say, yeah, suppose we want to measure this voltage through the oscilloscope using our laptop. So these two external terminals, these two external terminals they will be connected to the audio input of the laptop. Okay, now to connect this to laptop we need something, some connector kind of thing. So basically this is how the connector of the our laptop, this is the connector of, this is a 3.5 audio jack basically, and this is connected to the laptop. When you connect this to the laptop, when you connect this to the laptop, so basically here if you look out at the connection, then this in this connector we will what we will do that the voltages from our circuit, like so as we have seen that in our oscilloscope there are two channels. The oscilloscope, the software that I showed you yesterday, there was two channels. And so here in the audio jack also there are two channels. See, you can see this is for the ground terminal, this is the audio jack, and how this is how the audio jack look like. There are four terminals basically. This is for the left one, this is for the right one, this is for the ground terminal, and this is for microphone. So for our purpose we will be using these three. Okay, so we have basically two channel in our oscilloscope. So we will do some circuit connection like this. So this will be our ground terminal, and we will apply the first voltage between these two terminals. This will go to channel 1, and the second voltage for channel 2 we can apply to this port. So this will be connected to channel 2. So we have to make a circuit which can do this job. Okay, so to take out the connection from this audio jack we need some kind of connector. Okay, so we can use this kind of connectors which are available in market. So basically you can connect your circuit like this, that means these are the in your circuit, sorry, in the 3.5 audio jack there are four connections, and those four connection you can take out from here, and you can make a connection like this. So when you will make a connection like this, then whatever signal that is present in this port in channel 1 and in channel 2, that will be displayed to your desktop. So basically that will be displayed in your laptop through the scope. Okay, fine. So basically what we will do today is that since we are not present in the lab, so we do not have a facility to make a circuit. So today what we will do, instead of uh, generating these signals from the external world, instead of generating the signals from the external world, what we will do, we will use the signal that is present inside our laptop. So basically what we will do today, that in our laptop So let me make a diagram. So let's say this is our laptop. Then our laptop has two speakers. So let's say there are two speakers, and these speakers are known as the left speaker and sorry, this will be the left speaker and this will be the right speaker. So this has two speakers, that is the left speaker and the right speaker. And the connection of these speakers are something like this. So basically this, when you will see, so these two wires are grounded, and this is connected to let's say channel 1, and this is connected to channel 2. Okay, so inside our laptop, whenever some voice is coming from the speakers, so we do have two voltages for corresponding ones. Now what we will do, inside the laptop itself, uh, we will read these signals using the software. So we have installed a software, that is the Scope. Now I'm going to open this software and I will show you that how can we connect our software to the inbuilt speakers of our laptop. Okay, so now everybody who is having the access to this software, please open your laptop, just open this software. I will also be opening the software from my end, and we will explore about that software now. Yeah, so I'm opening this software in my laptop from my end. So this is the Scope software that we are using for making the oscilloscope. So in this software, uh, as I have told you that in in today's session, we will use the signal, means in our oscilloscope, we will try to measure the signal that is produced from our scope, and for this we will be doing this setting. Okay, so what we can do, these are the steps that we will follow now. That in this software we will set the input parameter to inbuilt speaker. Okay, so how can we do this here? Yeah, so this is the software. So in this software, just go to the setting. Yeah, now when you go to the setting, just go here to input. Now in the input you go loop back speaker H, means whatever is there, this might be different for you. So just go to loop back. Okay, just select this loop back. don't select this loop back scope look back, go for this loop back speaker. So just select it, and after selecting this, just go to the signal generator. So now what we are doing, we will generate some signals, and we will see those signals in the scope, that whether those signals are actually measured by the scope or not. Okay, so this will be the first uh, demonstration today. So just go to signal generator, and just this is the setting for the channel 1, the left speaker, and this is the setting for the channel 2. As I have told you, there are two channels in our laptop, inside our laptop. So yeah, so here in channel 1 you can see these are the settings. The waveform type is sine wave, so we will generate a sine wave, and these are the amplitude setting, and this frequency is 440 hertz. So just turn this on for channel 1 and turn this on for channel 2. So when you will turn this on, you will hear a noise that is okay. So the speakers are making the sound on this frequency. They are excited from this sine wave. Now if you will come to the oscilloscope, so after the signal generator block, just go to oscilloscope menu, and when you come to oscilloscope menu, just come to amplitude. In new screen, students are getting that this waveform, basically this diagram is going out of the window. So we just have to scale it down so that we can see the complete waveform in the window. So just go for amplitude and uh, swipe this knob towards 1. Okay. Now see here, we are generating the signals from the two channels. So here also we should able to see the two outputs. Now the as you can see from this dialog box, that both the channels, means channel 1 and channel 2, are having same parameters, like they are having same voltages, same frequency, and they do not have any phase shifting in between the two. So they are basically the same voltages. That's why they are overlapped over each other. So first let us separate them. Okay, to separate them, just come to this offset menu and just click here. When you will click here, you will see a line. So just hold this line and drag it to little up, so that both this waveform can be separated. And do one thing, that you might be seeing this plus icon. This icon, I think you are able to see this star kind of thing. So this is basically the point from where the waveform will start. This is known as trigger point. So for the time being, just don't worry about it. Just put this trigger point to anywhere in channel 1. Channel 1 means this green one. Green waveform is for channel 1, and the red waveform is for channel 2. Okay, now just zoom a bit. So this section is for amplitude control. Here you can control the amplitude, means in the y-axis you can control the scale. You can if you want to make it small or you want to make it large, you can do this from this knob. So this is basically for amplitude control. This block is for amplitude control, and this block is for time scale control. So in this, basically this is the vertical amplitude, that is for the magnitude of the signal, and this is the time amplitude. Okay, so this is the time amplitude, and we can control the scale of this time amplitude, means the time point division we can control from here. So basically we want to see this waveform very clear. So just I think this is fine. Okay, yeah. So we all have learned that how can we measure the signal that is coming at the terminal of the laptop in our laptop speaker. Now I will show you, means basically we will explore this software today, that how can we use this software. So just tell me in the chat menu that how many of you are able to do this. So I will basically read all those responses, and depending upon that I will go further. So just tell me in the chat menu that how many of you are able to get this. Okay, so I will wait for the replies for around 1 minute, and after that we will continue the session. Yeah, so I have got the just wait a moment. I think there is some error. Yeah, so I have just got the responses from all of you guys. So I will just there are few questions. Some of the students are not able to get this. So here Shubhi is asking that why the output of two channel are not overlapping in my laptop. So Shubhi, I would like so okay. So I will take these questions one by one. Uh, just Yeah. So I will just take the question one by one. So first we will sort out the problem of Shubhi. So Shubhi, just share your screen, or the give you the just give me the screenshot of your laptop, so that I can see that what is exactly happening with your channel. Okay. So just turn on the screen share from the Zoom app. Go to screen share and just broadcast your screen to this scope software. Okay, just I'm waiting for your screen. Yeah, just wait, Shubhi. I am able to see your screen. Just wait for a moment. Uh, Let me enable your audio. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, is it Shubhi?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the setting of your laptop, right?
Hmm.
Now, basically, just share me my screen. Just wait a moment. Okay, so just go to signal generator. This is view. Yeah, now can you go to xswap dot for timing?
It's flickering.
Yeah, no, it's not flickering. Now just okay, just go to the signal generator again.
Okay.
Mhm. So this frequency is 440 Hz, right? So
Hmm.
you just keep frequency 500. Yeah, yeah. No, no, don't go there. Just go to this xy plot. Sorry, frequency. Now click to this green value. Means this green line is there, no? Just click over there. Click. And now
Yes.
this zoom you can see. Can you see this zoom? Zoom.
Yeah.
Just below. Yeah, just slide that towards the right. Slowly. You just do this slowly. Hmm. Just hold on. Now, yeah, now on the upper right corner of your screen, there is channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now just go there and select channel 1 and channel 2. Third option. Yeah, so Shubhi, actually what is happening in your laptop, the signal means, I think it is some issue with your sound card. Means, so just, yeah. So every laptop is having a sound card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the sound card, I think the input to the sound card is same. Okay, means there are basically two input for sound card. One is for left one is for right speaker. Okay, now the
Hmm.
sound card is getting the same input, but somehow it is not able to produce the same output. So it might be the issue with your sound card. Okay, but
Okay.
the
Okay.
scope. Okay, now what can you conclude from this that see, so this software is like a mirror. Okay,
Yeah.
it will show you what is happening in the real world. So
Hmm.
it is telling you that in your sound card there is just a bit mismatch between these two, like left speaker and right speaker. Okay, so this is also a kind of thing that we can learn here, right?
Yeah.
See,
Hmm.
yeah, okay. So
Okay.
does it answer your query?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, na. So this is not
Okay.
any other issue. This is issue with your sound card. Okay. Oh yeah.
Huh.
So let me take just okay. You can turn off your screen share now. Yeah. So now I will take other question. So after Shubhi, everybody is getting result. Yeah. Dhruv Shikhar. Yeah, Dhruv Shikhar has asked a query that can you please repeat how to separate the two waves? Okay. Yeah. So now I am doing the that thing again, that how can we separate the two window. So I am sharing my screen. Just wait a moment. Let me connect to my PC. So, Dhruv, can you just turn on your mic and okay, you don't need to turn on your mic. I will do this from my end. I think that you will also be able to do this. So in this panel, just first click on the oscilloscope, and after this oscilloscope, you just go here. Okay, in this block, can you see this amplitude block? If you are able to see this amplitude block, just go there, and you will see this offset. Okay, so just click here. So basically at the starting it will be like this. Okay, it is both the waveforms are not separated from each other, but if you will go here and click on this green tab, so after clicking on this green tab, the line will appear. Just hold this line from the left button of your mouse like this, and just take it up or down. Just take it up. The green waveform, just you take it up, and red waveform you can keep it there, or otherwise if you can take it down, you can take it down. So this is basically the offset. We are giving a offset to the waveform. Okay, so I think it answers your question. Now I will take the next question. So Dhruv, does it answer your question? If not, then you can tell me. Just tell in the chat. Yeah, so yeah, I think everybody has done this. So now we will do the next thing. We will explore the other blocks of the software. So I'm just opening my laptop. Just wait a moment. No.
Hello?
Yeah. So who is it? Is it Netravat? I can hear some sound. Is it Netravat? Yeah. Okay, Netravat. So if you think that whenever you will feel that there is any information, you can just talk to me. I have unmuted you. Okay. So just tell me. So yeah, this is the software interface. I think you all have opened this one. And now just see, now we will explore each and every section of the software one by one. So in this software, this is basically the oscilloscope. This is the first feature that we are looking upon, that in the oscilloscope, somehow if we could able to see that what kind of signal we are having in the real world. So basically these are the signals of our speaker. Okay, now how we generated this, just understand it brief, that actually this software is having a signal generator function. So basically it can generate a signal and it can measure a signal as well. Now from this signal generator functionality, we can generate different kind of waveforms. Okay, so right now we will look upon all these features, but right now we will go for this X-square plot and frequency plot, and later on we will come to the signal generator. So for the timing, just keep this setting as it is. If you want, then you can put this frequency to 500 hertz, because it will be very easy to see this, because at the next demonstration we will be doing some other experiments. So just set this to 500 hertz, and put all these settings as it is default. So basically this is the output. Now from this output that is coming on the oscilloscope, you can perform a lot of mathematical operations, and you can measure many things. Like suppose here, see, these are two sine waves with 0 degree phase shifting. So just keep them here. So here what you can do, you can first, you can if you want to capture this waveform, then you can just stop this and you can save this waveform to anywhere, means okay. So you can save this waveform for if you want to attach it to somewhere, or if you want to have a record. So this is the first thing. And after this, what you can do, so this is basically, okay, we have explored this section, we have explored this section. Now let us see this section. What is this trigger? So trigger means, see, the sound wave that is appearing on your speaker right now is 500 hertz. It means that the voltage is changing 500 at the speed of 500 times in 1 second. Okay, so try to understand this. The real voltage on your speaker is changing in such a speed that it can complete 500 cycles within 1 second. But you, as a human being, you do not have the capability to see that waveform, because it is so fast. If our display will show this waveform in that speed only. So just see, if yeah, so basically if you will the actual signal is changing at a very fast speed. Okay, but we cannot see this signal if it will be like this. It is very messed up. So that's why we need the trigger. So what is the trigger? Trigger is something which tells that trigger means it will take a sample of a very short snapshot. Like if it is complete bunch of series of the waveform, then it will just zoom out a particular section and it will show you the waveform from that location. So basically it is the point. So here you can see this mark. This is for the trigger. So it is the point from where your waveform will start. So let's say here trigger, see, when I am shifting this, you can see a change in this value. This is trigger value. So let's say, suppose just keep this waveform to very down and put a 0 value here. Okay, now your waveform will come into this section. Okay, at this time you can see that your waveform is a kind of moving. It is not actually stable. Okay, so because it don't know that where it should start to show you the values, that's why we put a trigger to somewhere within the range of this waveform. And the moment you put trigger, means if this dot is within this waveform, you can see this light blinking. Okay, this icon will be blinking, means the scope is able to capture the waveform and it is able to save the waveform. Suppose it is out of this window, let's keep it out. So it is not able to capture this waveform for the other calculations. So you should always pay attention to this, that whenever you take any measurement, this trigger portion should be within the waveform. Okay, now if you will change this trigger to up and down, you can see a change in this voltage. So basically it is telling you that at this point the voltage of this function, the value of this voltage is this much millivolt, kind of thing. Okay, so this is the trigger. and you can set the trigger at different there are different type of triggering. So this is like auto triggering. So similarly there is a single trigger mode. We will discuss this later because at this time it might be confusing for you. So after we will do all these things, we will just give it a look. And here you can select that from where you want to means what should be your reference signal. So let's say in this scope, right now the scope is getting the reference signal from channel 1. You can put it to channel, put it upon channel 2 as well. So that like this. Okay, so this is basically what will be your reference signal, reference channel. And you can select the kind of triggering, like this is the rising edge. Rising edge means suppose your waveform is changing like this. Okay, and rising edge means that this point will be in the rising edge of your signal. So this is basically the rising edge of your signal. So the waveform will be on the rising edge. Okay, if you keep it on falling edge, so the waveform should shift to the falling. Just let me check why it's not happening. Oh yeah, sorry, this is for channel 1, right? So now this is within the channel 1, so triggering is started. Now see, initially it was on the rising edge. So you can see that waveform is stopped from the rising edge, very beginning. At this point, the waveform is rising. If you put it to falling, it will, at this point, your signal will fall. So this is basically used for other calculations in the real scope. Okay, so you can put, okay. So, and one more thing can happen, that when you start this scope, at that time the waveform might be very messy. Like very messy means, like suppose waveform is like this. Let's say you have started your scope, you have just turned on your scope, and here we are generating the signal by ourselves. That's why we know that this is the frequency and this is the amplitude. But if you are doing a project, and in that project, let's say you have connected the channel of the scope to the output of the Arduino, any digital pin, then at that time you don't know what is the frequency of that signal and how, what is the magnitude and frequency of that signal. So at that time, what you can do, you can just click this auto set, and when you will click this auto set, the software will automatically detect the kind of signal, and it will automatically adjust this time scale and amplitude scale like this. Okay, so if you select this auto set, it will do all these things. Now again, this, I think these two waveforms are merged over each other. Where is the other waveform? Yeah, it's gone down. So like this. Okay, so whenever you are confused, just turn on this option auto set. It will automatically parameter to show you the wave. Okay, so yeah, so I think this all the measurement and all the features of this channel is over. One last thing is that you can perform certain kind of measurement, like the frequency and what is the amplitude. So basically we will use frequency here. So you can see the frequency of this waveform, whatever waveform is coming on your speakers. Now this value might be different in the different operating systems. Like we have seen that in one of the students, Shubi, she was getting other waveform in on the scope. So if any of the student are getting any other value than 500 hertz, because we have set 500 hertz over here. So if anybody is getting any other frequency, any frequency other than 500, like 501, 502, okay, this small variation is okay. If you are getting any other value, just tell me in the chat menu. I will just wait for 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, then I will move further. If any student is getting any other value here in the frequency, any value other than 500, then Jay can just tell me in chat. Okay, so yeah, I think everybody is getting the correct frequency. And to the next one, XY plot. So I think you all might have seen the XY plot yesterday as well, where we talked something about the oscilloscope music and all those things. So just let me connect to my PC. So now we will try to look at this XY plot feature. So in the XY plot, what is the XY plot? We have discussed yesterday as well, and now also we will discuss a bit so that everybody can come to the same level. So in the XY plot, as we have discussed yesterday as well, that this is X, this is Y. Then what is XY plot? That you have two voltages. Right now you have voltage coming from speaker 1. Now from now only, instead of using the word speaker 1, I will say channel 1. Okay, so basically you are having two inputs. Inputs are two inputs you are having. One is channel 1 and another is channel 2. Okay, now both the in both the channels, like means channel 1 and channel 2, whatever voltage is coming, that is a function of time. Okay, for example, right now here it is coming sine 2 pi ft, and it is also sine 2 pi ft, where the frequency we have put a 500 hertz. Okay, we have set a frequency to 500 hertz. So what this XY plot is, that it will plot the X value versus Y value. Okay, so basically in the X channel it will in the X axis it will plot channel 1, and on the Y axis it will plot channel 2. Okay, now you can see that if both the channels are excited from the same waveform, that is, this is sine t and this is also sine t, so it's like X equals to Y equals to sine t. That's why ideally you should get a straight line. Okay, so ideally you should get a straight line, but most of you might be seeing, means might not be able to see exactly the straight line, as in my window as well. It is not completely a straight line. Okay, so I will tell you what is the reason behind it. See, so it should be the straight line. Yeah, fine. Now, why it is not a straight line? That is the question. And the answer is that although, see, if, yeah, so why we are not able to see the straight lines is that we are using the our software to generate those signals. Means we are using this software to generate the sine wave in, yeah, to generate on the different channels. But one should always keep in mind that this software works on a digital domain. Okay, means basically it works on the clock. So it might happen that after producing some waveform on channel 1, it is taking some time to produce the output waveform on channel 2. Means basically there is some delay in both the channels. Okay, so yeah, so there is a delay in both the channels, and because of the delay, some kind of just yeah, because of that delay, there is some phase shifting between the two voltages. So let's say, suppose you are having, I will just tell you briefly. Just don't be panic. It's not too much mathematical, but it is very necessary to understand, because sometime you might get into trap that something else is happening. So suppose this is your x-axis. This is, so what I'm saying. Suppose in your x-axis in channel 1, you are getting sine 2 pi t. Okay, and on your y-axis, you are expected to get sine 2 pi ft on channel 2, but because of some delay in the processor can take certain time to get the job done. So that's why some delay is coming. These are not exactly same. So this is sine, let's say 2 pi ft minus some angle theta. So this theta is in radian, of course. So because of that delay, there is some phase shifting between the two waveform. And how can you assure you that this is due to the delay? Okay, so now we are going to do this. How can we be sure that this is because of that delay? So just in the software, just go to the software, and in the software, what we will do, we will try to put some delay deliberately. Okay, so basically we will put some delay, and we will try to see that whether this delay can change the shape of the signal. Okay, so just come to the software. So just come to the software and go here down. This is the phase. So you can put the phase shifting, the value of phase angle that will be there between channel 1 and channel 2. So you just put it to 90, because it will be very easy to see. Okay, otherwise just do one thing. You can just keep it to 30°, and gradually we will increase this. So just put it 30°. Okay, the moment you will put it 30°, you will see a phase difference here. Okay, so yeah, so what is happening, that your channel 2, yeah, the channel 2 is leading by 30°. Okay, so this is channel 2, this is 30° leading, and this is behind that. So there is 30° phase shift. Now we will see that what is the effect of this phase shifting on XY plot. So can you see this? So now basically, if you do not have any phase shifting, so if you do not have any phase shifting, the waveform will look like this. Because x is equals to y, you won't see anything. Okay, you will see like this. But if you have a phase shift, it will a kind of ellipse kind of thing will make. And if you will keep on changing this phase shift, then just see, you can see here, I am going to put this phase shift to 90°. Okay, so if you will keep this phase shift to 90°, just see what is happening. Okay, So actually if both the scales, means scale here, this is for channel 1 and this is for channel 2, you just put it on the same scale. Okay, so just put both the slider on the same amplitude. Okay, so 1 and 1. So if you will do that, you will be able to see an circle kind of thing. It is not exactly circle, because I think the this channel value, these sliders are a different, this might be different, but this should be circle ideally. But always keep in mind, it's not an ideal circuit, it's a real world practical element. That's why they do have little non-ideality. What my intuition is that, to show that if you change the phase shift between the two channels, it is going to change this figure. Okay, so this is basically for this XY plot section. So if what you can do, see, I want you to do one thing from your side. Okay, I want to get some answer basically from you guys. Just put this phase shift to 180 degree. Okay, so when you put this to 180 degree in XY plot, you see this kind of thing. Okay, initially we were seeing this kind of thing, now we are seeing this kind of thing. So just for you you to be attentive, I just want to know that, can anybody answer that why is it happening? Means if you guys are, means if you can answer, just try to answer why is it happening. Initially when the phase shift was 0 degree, so I will just keep it. So phase shift was 0 degree, then this XY plot was like this. But now when I'm changing the phase shift to 180 degree, the waveform is changing to this. Can you can anybody answer me, just means just for a just yeah, if anybody can answer, then just yeah. So yeah, yeah. So it's not a hard question, I just wanted to know that you all guys are awake. Slope changes sign, yeah, sin x plus pi is equal to minus sin x, so y is equal to minus x. Yeah, so it's very simple question. Okay, so thank you for all to being attentive. So now what we will do, we will just go to the next section. This is very important section. Okay, so as we are running out of time, I will try to do this quick. Just wait a moment. I'm connecting my system to my laptop. Yeah, so uh, so now we will explore this section, which is just beside the XY plot. This is the frequency. So what you can do, you can measure the frequency spectrum of different channels, means for channel 1 and channel 2. Now just pay attention to this, because this is the very important feature for hardware designing. Why it is very important, you know, that frequency section has the ability to show you the noise. Okay, now I will tell you from very beginning, just in brief. So let's say you have a signal. Okay, so let's say you have a sine wave. Now if you have a pure sine wave, let's say the frequency, Okay, here we have set the frequency to 500 hertz. Okay, this is the time period is 1 by f. So basically, if the frequency is 500 hertz, then okay, so your waveform is sine wave and your frequency is 500 hertz. Then in the ideal condition, if everything is going right, then in the frequency scale, see only one frequency component, that is for 500 hertz. So now just in this frequency section, just click over here, just click over here and just slide this zoom. Okay, now just go to 500 and just let it zoom. Okay, so I think that see, as many of you are first year students, so you might not be knowing about the FFT, FFT or frequency spectrum. This term might be new for you, but just don't be panic, because frequency spectrum means basically the main signal that you are having, how many frequency component that contains. Okay, so I will just walk through. I have, as I told you, that we can measure the noise from this dialog box. So we will just try to do that. Now just go to the signal generator. Now we are going to generate a signal which has noise. So deliberately we will put some noise on top of the main signal. Now when you go to signal generator, just turn this off. So we will generate the signal only on channel 1 and go to the formula. Okay, now when we will go to formula, you will see a formula written over here. So basically here a sine omega t is written. So it is generating a waveform from this formula. So a means basically the amplitude. Okay, and sine omega t, omega is set to 2 pi f. Okay, 2 pi f means 2 pi into 500 radian per. So here what noise? So just do plus, just copy this and put just multiply it by 0.1. Okay, so what we will do, we will add a noise signal of 1/10 amplitude of the main signal, and we will just change the frequency. Means frequency, see, noise signal are basically high frequency signal, so we will keep the frequency of this noise signal 10 times the actual signal frequency. So 10 into omega t. Okay, so I think everybody is able to do this. So just put this formula on the screen. A sine omega t plus 0.1 into a into sine 10 omega t. So basically we should see one main sine component, and on top of that we should see a noise, the frequency of which will be 10 times higher than the actual frequency. Okay, after this this is turned on. Now on here the sound might have changed little bit, and just turn this off. So basically we are generating the signal only on channel 1, and the waveform, how the waveform looks like, you can see here. See, basically this is a sine wave. Okay, basically this is a sine wave, but on top of sine wave there are sine waves on top of this. These are superimposed. See, can you see this? Just let me zoom out. Yeah, so on top of this main sine wave, this is the main sine wave signal, and on top of this sine wave, these are the sine 10 omega t. This is for sine omega t and this is for sine omega t. So this is basically the superimposed version of the two. Okay, now on looking this waveform, one can say that this signal is having some noise. Okay, now just think that suppose you are doing a hardware experiment. Okay, you don't know what kind of signal is actually present on your hardware, and when you connect the probe to the terminals of your suddenly this kind of waveform will appear at front of you. Okay, now you cannot say what is the noise, means what is the nature of this noise and what kind of frequency component it contains just by seeing this waveform. So to do that, you will need a tool which is present here in the scope. So just click here. Okay, now just zoom it out. Zoom it out. Fine. Now the main signal frequency in this signal generator was omega t, means the main signal frequency was 500 hertz. But the noise that we have added on top of that, the frequency of that is 10 times higher than the main signal, means 5000 hertz. Okay, so here you can see there is a main frequency component. Just zoom it a little bit so that it could be clear. So see, here is main frequency component of higher amplitude on 500 hertz, and there is a lower frequency component that is a noise of 5000 hertz. Okay, so these things you can see by this feature. If you have any other noise, then also you can see here on this screen. Okay, so basically this I want to show you, can you use this frequency. Okay, so I think today's session, that for the session is the over. So one thing I want you to do, just do this in your end, that you just put here a sine wave. Okay, yesterday I did the experiment on the oscilloscope music kind of thing. Okay, so the same thing we will do, so that you all can also do. So just turn on both the channels. So we will turn on both the channels and just come here to sweep in the sweep menu. Okay, so in the sweep menu, just toggle this, check this box. Okay, after checking this box, just put here frequency something like for the five, it is main frequency is 500 hertz. So you just put here like say, let's say 600 hertz. Okay, just put 600 hertz and turn on this sweep. So you might, means everybody of you might able to hear this sound which is changing like siren kind of thing. Okay, so just put this time to 10 seconds in the time bar. Now just come to the oscilloscope. Yeah, just to the oscilloscope. You can see that frequency of little here. You can see the frequency is changing, right? So just turn on both the channels and keep this triggering to channel 2 so that the waveform can be stable. So basically what is happening, the one signal is having a constant frequency of 500 hertz, but the frequency of the other signal is changing from 500 hertz to 600 hertz. Okay, and now if you will see the X-square plot, then you will see this kind of thing on your screen. Okay, this is really, yeah, this is a very fantastic kind of thing. So just keep it. Okay, if it is very fast and you are not able to see this, just go here and increase the time in the signal generator menu. Just increase this time to, let's say, 25 seconds. Okay, when you put it to 25 seconds, okay, now also it's little fast. So what you can do, just change this frequency to 550. So the change should be very slow. Yeah, so you can see different kind of figures, and the figure follow a particular pattern. Okay, if you will see, this is following a particular pattern. Okay, now why is it happening? I also, means why all this kind of figure is appearing, this we will have to explore, but it's a kind of thing. See, these waveforms are really cool. Just uh, change this to just little, so that actually I want to see the pattern. Before this also I haven't explored it. Actually I just want to see the pattern, what pattern it is following. So just put it like 505. So just put it to end frequency, you keep 505 and put the time to 25, and just come to expert plot to see that. Okay, this dancing waveforms. So this is like a falling coin kind of thing. Okay, when the coin falls, it's, it's making a different kind of thing. Okay, so I hope that you all are also doing the same on your screen. Okay, so okay, one thing I have noticed. Okay, I will tell you. See, one thing I have noticed. Okay, when you will start this at this time, at that time you will get a XY line kind of thing at the starting. Okay, just tap it on and fastly go to this XY plot. See, initially you are having a XY line kind of thing. Okay, initially we had the XY line kind of thing, and after that this is changing. Okay, so so is everybody getting this kind of figure? You can just tell me if anybody is not getting, or if anybody is having any issue in XY plot. Okay, and if you are getting, then it's very fine. You can share those screenshot in the Slack. Okay, so that everybody can appreciate that. Okay, so you can do one thing as well. One thing we can do, that I will tell you. Mm, just let me connect to my PC. Yeah, so in this XY plot menu, you just go and uncheck this grid. So grids will not come and the waveform will be like more clear. Okay, so I think it's enough for today. And if you are having any question, then we can discuss that. Okay, uh, so if you have any question, just ask that question. And if you are getting this waveform on your scope, then I will request you all to send the screenshot in the Slack, so that everybody can appreciate, who are attending this workshop and who are not attending this workshop, to just share the screenshot or the small video kind of thing of this thing. Okay, so yeah, if you have any question, just ask in the chat section. Okay, so I'm waiting for your question. Okay, so there is a question that what sweep do. Okay, so okay, so I will answer this question now. So just, yeah, so basically we are doing the sweep. Sweep means we are changing the value of any parameter from one value to other value. So if you will just, so I'm not sharing my screen now. You all can see in your laptop. Just go to signal generator, and if you will go to signal generator, then just go for this sweep. Okay, and in the sweep section you can see f end. Okay, so basically there is 500 hertz. Okay, and there is a sweep. That too, this is setting for channel 1. So here if you will go to sweep, there is Fn, and we have set this to 505 hertz. Okay, yeah, so basically this was, so what is happening, the the voltage in channel 1 is sine 2 pi ft. Now what is happening, that the frequency is changing from 500 hertz to 505 hertz. Okay, and how much time it is taking to sweep to that value is 25 seconds, because in the sweep menu we have set here 25 seconds. So I think should be it answers your question. Okay, and one last thing, one last thing that okay, I think it's enough for today, yaar. It will be too much frustrating if we will do a lot of things. Okay, so yeah. So fine. So there is one question. If anybody is interested, okay. If anybody is interested, then only you consider this question. Otherwise, it's okay. Okay. The question is that in the XY plot, when we are changing the frequency, why this kind of figures are coming? Okay. If you can answer, then answer it. Otherwise, I will answer it tomorrow. Okay. I also don't know the exact answer, but I have something in my mind, and we will discuss that tomorrow. I will just tell you the answer tomorrow. If you get any answer, if you can find any answer, just tell that on the Slack channel or through anywhere, right? Okay. So that's okay. That's it for today, and we will discuss a little bit things about this topic, this oscilloscope, and we will start functionator from tomorrow. So just we continue. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for joining the workshop.